get started. Make sure I know what button actually starts my splits. It appears I don't know what buttons to start my splits. 1 second. Alright, there we go. Hopefully I did the right playthrough. I didn't restart the wrong one. It would be devastating to lose my main file. Ooh, just because I never got my notes up. But I'll have to do that during. There is an easy part to do it during. I know how to do like the first bit at least, top of my head. Actually, I might know all of it at this point. It's not like super hard for the Trosky percent. Alright, let's see if I can hit this. Oh my gosh, the aim is so wonky. Just let me aim. Please pull the crossbow back. I whiffed. Yeah, you need to shoot like these gunner guys. See if I can get one as they run in at least. So basically, if you're able to shoot down the 3 gunners prior to them coming down here, it like skips them shooting these shots and gets the fire to fall down faster, which is like the next requirement to go ahead. Because that part just happens on its own.
Can't go up. I have to help them by the gate.
Okay, so there's the fire. So now we should have to go help at the top, where all we gotta do is push a ladder down. There might be a bit of RNG here. I'm not like... We have to go push a ladder down. I'm trying to pull out my pole arm, and hopefully I can just push us down with no issues. Nice. Oh my goodness, I'm getting hammered. Nice. Alright, now we have some tutorial stuff. This is actually where I can pull my guide now. Which again, I'm pretty sure I don't really need it until we're further in.
Well, Henry, looking forward to new adventures? Adventures that will become the stuff of legends?
Like, I don't know, looking through this, I kind of don't need it at all.
Get to the nearest tavern.
Anyways,
We'll drink
I'll keep it up
to
just in
our
case. You never know.
chase some local wenches, eh? didn't Uncle Hanush take care of it himself? Unless, maybe he's just testing me.
Yeah, Hans, he's probably testing you.
Aye, it does look like that. He'll hand over all the RTA estates
Hi,
to
Mutt.
you one day. So I expect he wants to be sure you won't botch it.
Of course. How could I possibly botch it up? There are foreign armies rampaging through Bohemia. The king is in captivity, God knows where, and here we are in the middle of it all, carrying an important document. No, I intend to make the most of this trip, one way or another.
So do I. How is that? Fortuna...
Audentes fortuna juvat!
Audentes fortuna
See
juvat.
now, there's the Henry I know and love. Well, enough of the chat. Trosky's almost within reach.
Sir Hans, how's it looking there in the back?
All good, Oates. Just keep your eyes on the road.
Shout out Oates, he's a real one.
Exactly. If anything in front of us even looks like it's moving, we want to know.
Keep your hair on, Nick. Old Oak's got eyes like a hawk.
Old Oates got eyes like a hawk.
Nothing.
We're not enemies, Henry. I'm looking.
Alright, so there I took the,
You can
whatever the second option is, it increases your speech a little bit. I take that one to help with some speech checks early on. Immediately we're gonna talk to Oates,
Hey, call off that dog.
call off Mutt, and then talk to Hans to start the fighting tutorial.
And I might. Let's see if Han and Balba you're in. So just to let keep. You've got to. Here's a have that.
Nice, so we'll just really equip all our training gear, and we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Did you? All right. Let's start.
So this part's pretty self-explanatory.
Let's get warmed up. I'll attack you a few times. You defend.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna start mashing while the text is going because it'll count those attacks,
Is that the best
and it'll
you've
let you
got?
like attack as soon as possible.
Even
It's
work
kind of
up
cool.
a sweat.
Over on the
You
right,
will
you can
soon
kind of see a
enough.
tunnel.
A foe in
We don't really
place
use
has
it in a
been warned
speedrun
out.
route, but like
Let's
casually,
see it
there's something
then.
really cool you can do where you can actually drop like all of your money and equipment in there, and we'll see what happens story-wise. Well, we won't because we're gonna skip everything. But story-wise, you lose everything that you have on you right now, which is pretty solid gear and a good amount of
You're
money.
pretty winded yourself.
You can put all the stuff in the chest in that cave, and you can actually come back to this cave and pick it up, which is pretty
Now
cool.
save the advice and try it yourself.
Gladly. On guard.
Alright,
Nice.
here we're just gonna do blocking. Blocking can be a little finicky. I'm not sure if it's like the game or my mouse.
Good.
It's probably my mouse, the more I think about it, because it seems to be going well so far. Is a piece of RNG a little bit. As we can see, Hans decided not to attack me there for a few seconds.
No one's ever won a duel just by blocking.
There's like
You've
two
got to
pieces
make
of
an opening
RNG
to
during this
strike
first
back.
section, and it's that,
You do that
as well
by
as
means of a perfect
when
block.
we go into a duel, we're gonna let Hans just beat us up.
You've become a real swordsman.
So depending on how fast he attacks us,
Pretty good.
we can, you know, obviously the duel ends faster or slower.
Nice. But what about a riposte?
What about a
Reckon you can
riposte?
manage
Why wouldn't I? Nothing to it. I'll just follow up a perfect block immediately with a strike. I'll show you.
that? Get ready. Nice.
I do want to get a full game speedrun done at some point. It's just like such a time commitment.
What?
Like Trosky says like 2 hours. That's pretty easy pill to swallow.
If someone gives you a riposte, you
Uh,
can still fend it off with a perfect
The
block.
full thing though
And it's
is
best to follow up right away with your own.
looking more like 7.
Yeah, right. But what if I want to attack in such a way that you can't make a perfect block?
Then it's best to attack at a spot where your opponent isn't covered. Where he's not holding his weapon. You defend, and I'll show you how.
All right. Come on then. Nice work, Henry. Good riposte. All right. I get it. Christ. Enough demonstrations and explanations.
Let's have one training duel to finish up, eh?
Indeed. And let's have a wager to spice things up. How about 100 groschen?
All right. 100 groschen it is.
Defend yourself.
Alright, he says defend ourselves.
Off to a good start.
We're not gonna do that. We're gonna let him have his way with us. And hopefully he just attacks really fast. Let me try. Sometimes if you swing at him, it'll egg him on. And then sometimes it won't. I did a practice run of this part prior, and he was attacking me like crazy. Ah, jeez. Okay, it's fine.
Got a hoe.
See that, fellas? Now that's what I call.
Here we go. Now he's letting me have it. Alright, so we're gonna put our weapon away, hop this fence, and run to the campfire.
So
That's ugly. It was. You are true.
what?
If you
That only he was.
We're gonna take the speech upgrade, which again is for us getting our horse.
You know.
And then we're gonna take a survivor upgrade, which is gonna help us pass literally one speech check. It's the only reason we
And
take
what, I
it.
mean, what?
Well,
Does any?
I want the. It's like and that is. And just hit that.
And then in this category, we like do 0 fighting, so that answer doesn't matter. But for the full speed run, we use heavy weapons exclusively.
Any?
Oh, you know what? Actually, we do use a heavy weapon in the speed run. Sometimes I forget just how far this first section of the game is. All right. Here you're supposed to sneak with Hans to go spy on ladies. We're just gonna bolt straight for him. We have 0 attack.
Okay.
It's like they're supposed to learn about how you can throw rocks to disguise people. Again, doesn't like reset us if we don't do it, so we just try to get there as fast as possible. Here, our camp is going to get attacked, and we make a miraculous escape where we swim despite not knowing how to. And again, we're meant to get away with Hans and sort of wait for him, but we are just going to sprint right ahead. I'm going to stop sprinting here for a bit to get my stamina back, and then we're going to sprint past these guys and make sure they see me. Basically, there's some triggers that rely on Hans to be there to work. And once you get spotted, he'll start sprinting along with you. Which just massively speeds up this section. My only worry is that these guys can technically catch you. So I'm going to not sprint for a second, and then we'll speed back up and sprint again. Yeah, like there I can see there's like the fighting icon, which is a little scary. But hopefully we can get around this corner. And we're fine. It should turn into like a searching icon soon. Hopefully once we're down here. If not, then we're in danger. Hopefully Hans appears soon. That's really annoying. There's Hans.
Oh, God. What do you want?
Okay, time to scrap this entire thing. Why is this not working? It works sometimes. Need to figure out what makes that consistent. Try one more time.
Hey, halt!
Alright, so I'll try this again. Hopefully we can lose them this time. No fighting icon is pretty good. Oh, there it is. That's not great. Huh. Yeah, kept the whole time again. Let's try to just dodge attacks then. Until Hans gets here.
Here, Oh,
Yeah, see you, Hans. Let's go. Alright.
found my way out of those bloody
That's a pretty good
goblins
backup,
finally.
actually. Nice, that's a really good backup, actually. So, now I know in the future, if that happens, if the guy still chases me, to just sort of hover there and dodge attacks. Here, you're meant to fight this guy, but we're just gonna immediately run for the ledge and jump. I know in that cutscene what we saw, it didn't look like I jumped, but I promise you I jumped. Alright, now we have a bit of walk-in and exposition. This part really helps for the people that didn't play the first game, to sort of teach you what's going on.
How are you holding up?
It's not so bad.
All right. That'll have to do
For the speedrun though, it's just a bit of a
as long as you're able to talk.
auto-scroller.
Talk. I know you're hanging in there. Henry, what are you staring at?
Horseman. Faster.
I'm doing what I can, pal. Jesus, don't do this to me. Pull yourself together and let's go. We have to go.
But the gate is closed.
Don't mind me, just playing LinkedIn
Don't worry,
games,
my
waiting
name
for this
won't
part to
open
end.
any gates.
Fuck.
What's the matter? Let's not shit ourselves. We can do this, Henry.
Bianca.
Come on.
Father?
Listen to me, Al. Listen carefully. Take the sword, go into the house, and grab anything else important from the trunk. Go to the castle.
Henry.
Hurry. What about you?
Are you mad?
Mother is in the village. I'll fetch her and we'll follow right behind.
I'll go with you.
So,
No.
basically Hans has picked us up after our fall.
Give the sword to someone.
Christ's sake.
Anything happens.
In the
Come
cutscene, we
on.
fight that guy and we both fall off the ledge, essentially, which is an explanation as for why you become totally inept in all your skills again.
Work it together. You'll
So,
see.
Hans is working to get us anywhere to try to save us. So, shout out Hans. Sir Hans Capen.
Henry, focus.
Can't run away.
Henry, pull yourself together.
Kill them.
Please. There's nobody here. You're just imagining things.
Run. No.
Don't give in to it. Hang in there.
Tough stuff. That's his parents, by the way. For any non-KCD1 players.
Bugs.
We'll make it together. You'll see.
There's
You're a
Barkfart. We're
warrior.
not gonna be
You
able to
can
see
do
him in this specific speedrun, but plays a substantial
It's
role
all
in
right,
the
Henry. I've got you.
full game.
Just a little further. Henry, wake up.
The linden tree. Just like Father always wanted.
No, we can't stop.
Pa.
None of these dialogue options matter, also, so I just click whatever.
They're all dead.
We aren't yet. Henry, a light. Look.
I see it.
Hold on.
Alright, now we're back in the game. This is Bozena. She saved our lives. She's a herb woman. She has a really cool side quest in base game, but again, we're not going to be like super interested. Basically just gonna steal her food, clean up, and
Aye. True bliss is a full belly.
get money from her. In the cutscene, Hans ends up finding a guy and killing him to defend us, but he also gets wounded in the process.
I feel like a new man. Did what?
And I can say, well, you, I've but I bet you all
Easier said. There is
good at the you all see
maybe
the
I wouldn't.
when and
True.
I'll
All right.
So Bazena's asking us to go and bury this dead body of the guy Hans killed. We are not going to do that. We're just going to carry him up this way a little bit, where his friends won't be able to find him, and that'll be that. Bazena will worry about burying this guy later. Feels like a rude thing to do, but what can you do?
Damn. Shoulder still hurts like hell.
We're on a mission to go
No,
fast.
tell me
We're
when
not
it's gonna
worried
rain.
about truly helping this nice old lady out.
Purple flower. Sage. There we go. That's it. Chamomile. Right. I've got all the herbs I need. So back to Bajena on the double. The sooner Hans gets that remedy, the better.
Gonna try to dodge the bushes there because those are gonna slow down my speed.
What's that dog making such a fuss about?
What the dog doing?
Could something have happened at Bajena's?
Alright, we're gonna come here and talk to this guy. And then this is why we took the one survivor check, is to get that speech check right there.
Aye.
So just send those guys away. The fight itself isn't super hard, so like, I don't know, for this full speed run, maybe I'll use it on like stealth, but because stealth is like actually useful.
Alright.
I have of
And now Bazena's telling us with those herbs we collected, we're gonna go ahead and brew a potion for Hans.
first go to the recipe book. Now find the recipe for chamomile decoction and remember what you have to do. Then get back to the bench and we'll start. All right. First, you have to pour the right base.
So we're gonna make some
Choose
chamomile
the right
decoction,
picture from
which is just
shelf
wine,
on the
sage, and
left.
chamomile.
What did you pour in there?
Wine, of course.
This is also a bit auto-scrolling. You can speed it up like a little bit. Like I get the recipe stuff out immediately, earlier than you meant to, but
So you know
for the
how
most part,
to
it's just kind of knowing what kind of stuff Bazena's gonna ask you to do and doing it when she tells you.
Hear that bubbling?
We're gonna have one more part like this, which is essentially when we learn how to make a sword. There's two paths you can take to get to the wedding, which again we'll see that story stuff in a bit. But one of them is through the blacksmith, and the other is through the miller. I've been running with the blacksmith just because you get access to your horse when you do that, and the horse is just nice. Otherwise, you just have to keep stealing horses.
To keep it going, you mustn't stop with the bellows. If you want to cool it down quick, take it off the flame.
But yeah, this is alchemy. I think alchemy is so cool in this game.
Good. Now we'll start with the brewing. Get all the herbs that you need ready. The ones you picked. Put them there on the shelf, so you've got them at hand. All right, let's get to it. First, throw 2 handfuls of chamomile into the cauldron. Before you put it on the flame, turn the sand glass, so you know how long you're brewing it. It's got to be exact.
In my casual playthrough, I used alchemy so much. I abused
When the
poisons.
sand has flowed out, that's 1 turn. That's how
And also
long
made a
you
bunch of
have to
marigold,
boil the chamomile.
potions.
Move
I can't remember what the full
cauldron
name
to
is,
fire
but
and wait until it starts
the
bubbling.
marigold potions are really good too.
Then turn the sand glass. As soon
And then you
as
get
the
perks
sand
where you can
runs
make
out,
like 6 at a time, and they're
the
all
cauldron
stronger.
off the fire again.
And the way poison function in this game is just hilarious.
The cauldron off
Like,
the flames.
people just get stomach aches. You'll hit them once with your weapon, and they just
Now,
bend over, and they're
take
going
1
like, "Oh,
handful of sage,
I must have
rub
made
it
something
into
bad."
the mortar and pestle,
Which is
and
just goofy,
drop it in the
considering they have
cauldron.
a flesh wound. But
Have you ground it? Good. Now, drop it in the cauldron. You don't have to boil it anymore. All you have to do now is...
all right, there we go. And now we have our
Get
potions.
a file and pour it in. Done. Now Let's see what you've brewed.
A little too fast.
Here it is.
This
All right.
what go?
I need something to eat.
Alright, here we're gonna just dump ahead to like 1 and go to sleep.
So that's right. Then I have mine. She's on that. And what? That's what I. Oh.
By the way, I don't think I've explained it, but what we're trying to do here in this area is we're trying to find allies for King Wenceslas. There's essentially 2 different kings. There's Sigismund and Wenceslas. We're to support Wenceslas, so we're trying to find allies in this region. So we're trying to deliver a letter to von Burgo. But we were essentially intercepted by bandits, which is what happened. And now we're trying to find a way to von Burgov to give him this letter. But we lost the letter in the raid, obviously, because we didn't bring it with us when we were taking baths and we got attacked.
God bless.
As Henry says, may God bless.
So that's what this next cutscene is: us basically making it to von Burgov, being turned away because we look like peasants.
Hold on. I don't believe.
So we're gonna get kicked out, and then we have to find a way to get to the wedding where von Burgov is supposed to show up. So that's sort of a brief story recap. So here we are at a bar, still dressed like peasants with no money. And yeah, gonna carry on from there, I guess. There's also a reoccurring girl that pops up. We're not gonna see her again. Well, we will see her a couple times, but she was one of the girls that was doing laundry earlier in the game, and we're gonna see her here, and we're gonna try to question her about the attack.
That's
So I'm not.
before.
So what?
Well, we've got. No, I'll tell you.
It's not. We'll keep us. We'll get.
Who?
God be with. I don't. I'm. Oof. Gee.
Doesn't half taste
I
good
heard
today.
some talk about your cap. There's a thief here.
So basically, there, Bozena like talks for a while.
Easy.
We're just
I
gonna
surrender.
pickpocket her and like clean ourselves, and
What the hell was I want?
doing that will make her conversation end so that we can talk to Catherine faster.
Sorry to bother.
Oh. What?
I'm not.
Oh, and
We commit a lot of very obvious crimes as a way to just progress the game. That'll be a recurrent theme in the speedrun.
Over my set you off if you too.
All right.
So here, because again we have no money, I agreed to do work for the innkeeper,
I'll go in.
and you can inquire more about like a wedding and a way to make stuff happen later in the game. But because we're basically foreplaying as a sidekick, we're just gonna not do that.
And well, God, I suppose will.
There's.
I know.
So we've agreed to lug sacks for the innkeeper.
All right. Although.
Henry, would that be not honored? And now, so, but it pure in short. Thanks. But above.
Hans, in Hans' fashion, has refused to help us lug these sacks because he is above that. So we're gonna lug them on our own.
What do you expect?
Worth noting there, again, we're being asked to investigate about the wedding as a way to get the attention of von Burgov. And the 2 options are either the blacksmith or the miller, and we're going to do the blacksmith option. But again, we're not going to really get information on that. We're just going to sort of know to go to that city.
Just like my old woman jumping like at the council. Taking their time again. Right now, I'll ask her
One thing to note, which I'll explain as I'm doing this, is that at the very start of this recording, I was playing my finished save, which is in the Gutenberg region, which is the region after this speedrun ends, essentially. And I purposely took a death, because when you die, the new game menu appears from within that save. And by doing that, like starting a new game from that area, it's going to give us all the fast travel points in this area immediately. We used to not have to die, we used to just be able to start a new game just from the main menu. But that was removed in an update, but they didn't remove it from the death screen for whatever reason. So we use that, and that's going to allow us to have fast travel points immediately. If it wasn't for that, we would have to do some horse robbing at the start of the game in order to get to our locations, but Thankfully, we don't have to worry about getting in trouble. So now that we've logged 3 stacks, we're actually going to come out here and see that Hans has gotten himself into a bit of a yelling match, which is going to lead to actual fist fighting. And in classic speedrun fashion, we're going to go and try to punch as many of these guys as we can to get as much attention on us as possible. And now we're going to stand in the middle of all of them, and hopefully they just start beating the crap out of me. It's much faster to just die, not die, but you want these guys to really let you, give you the what for. So I punch a couple of them to get all the attention on me, and then just constantly run up to them to try to get them to beat me up faster. Yeah, so here we go. They're really showing me what for now. Just a few more. You guys can do it. There's like 5 of you.
You're not up to it.
We were really close when I had no stamina. You take more damage when you have no stamina, so you kind of want them to hit you repeatedly.
Now you're finished.
It's pretty bad RNG. That one took a bit.
You behave like a.
Just who? Well.
So first thing we're going to do out of here is, in order to actually attend the wedding, we're going to need good clothes to boost our charisma. So the first thing we're going to do is knock out and rob a clothed person, or the tailor. Tailor's what a clothed person is called. So we're going to throw a rock through the window. Well, we need them to actually hear it. There we go. And now we're going to sprint over. And while he's investigating the rock we threw, we're going to knock him out. We missed. Okay. 0 for 1. It happens. So, this guy almost never just goes down. You usually have to do, like, there's, like, 2 buttons you have to click. The second one is a lot harder than the first.
Find some job. I'll find muck without you, you stuck-up lord of Perkstein.
So, let's throw the rock in the window again. And let's go try to choke this guy out. Okay. He just didn't even bother looking.
Where are your clothes?
It's interesting.
What?
Let's try this again. Alright, got it that time. So now we're going to take this guy's keys and money. And then we're going to rob this chest. And we're going to take specific clothes that are going to give us just enough charisma in order to enter the wedding.
Who's there? Huh?
Don't worry about this. Did she actually see the wedding, or is she more annoyed about... Anyways. Now we're going to go ahead and fast travel straight to Takov. This is going to be where we meet the blacksmith and can get started with getting into the wedding.
Isn't it?
I heard.
What are
Henry,
you should.
yeah, my father put
As it.
so
Hold. You could.
sure. I
You. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice. Try.
What is
Some
happening?
things like salt too long to fit in the fire.
Alright, so yeah, we talked to the blacksmith. We're getting started on our quest to make it into the wedding. So, first thing we're doing is learn how to build a sword. And we're going to have to build a sword later in the quest as well. That one goes faster because you're not being forced to do it this guy's way. But, yeah. Anyways, now we build a sword for a bit. And we have our clothes to get in, which should have our... Here he's asking us to take it out and inspect it. You have to wait until he actually asks you to do it, or else you have to do it again, so just wait. Now we're going to heat up the whole blade until we can take it to the anvil. And now we just sort of whack at the sword until it's done. Unfortunately, you don't normally have to rotate the piece or put it back in the fire, but For the tutorial, you do have to, which makes it go a little longer. I think this game did an awesome job with the crafting. I think the crafting, like all the crafting, is a lot of fun. Between this, sharpening blades, alchemy.
A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dog.
Which I do max hits and get sparks as much as possible,
One hit next to the other.
so that after we have to do, it's going to force us to go back to the forge and reheat the blade. We just want it to be as close as possible
A sword has two
to being
sides,
done when we get there.
like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over. and
That line
continue
cracks me
on
up
your
every
path.
time. There's two sides to everything, including myself, is just crazy.
Nice. Now try forging it on both sides.
So yeah, we don't really have to do that.
Being
We're just going to keep whacking away at this until he tells us, hey, put it back in the forge and reheat it.
soon anyway.
Pretty soon, should we ask us to put it back into the fire? They just, for whatever reason, make this blade take longer to make than the longsword we'll be making at the end of this quest before we go to the wedding.
Cool now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day.
All day, bit of exaggeration. I don't think this guy's a very good blacksmith. So I'm gonna get it heated back up, and then bring it back to the anvil. Then hopefully we just have to hit it a couple times, and we can finish this sword. Alright, now we're mashing E to finish it. And now we start having some of the funnier quests. Because again, like, because we're just a fortune teller and we know everything that's going to happen with no information about it at all. We're going to finish quests by just not doing them or just skipping to the end, essentially. You can see all my splits. I have Wedding Crashers 1, 2, and 3. And the finale, which will come up after we finish this one. 1 is just making the sword. 2 is the blacksmith lost a bunch of materials, so we're going to go to Semi to try to figure out why. But we're not actually going to join them on the quest to get it. We're kind of just going to, like, sleep through it and let them do it. Oops. Here you can just, again, say, of course I know how to blacksmith. What do you want to do now?
Right, you can just you take once you.
You said it's a you just. Have you read
This?
Again, here, we're not going to ask anything about the people that stole the stuff. We're just going to head right there. So, go ahead and get over the map, and let's go to Semi. Anytime we get any of these random events, we're going to do our best to avoid them. There's literally one later in the game that's actually good to do it for, that I think is funny. It's not this one, though. Before we start this next bit, we're going to make sure we equip a sword. And this is hilarious. We're going to be putting a cutscene and essentially get into a fist fight with some of Semi's relatives. To end the fist fight, we're just going to immediately pull a weapon. And that seems to end the fist fight.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about the mission that we're going to do. I'm going to say you have no questions. Let's get going. But, of course, what I mean by that is I'm just going to go get my horse and then sleep through the mission. You can go ahead and do what you need to. So, in order to get the horse, we have to pass a charisma check.
They'll be with you.
Okay, I'm not going to clean myself. I'm just going to put on our outfit. And now let's go talk to the groom.
Would you have but all that I was he said he grew that's where that's more what do you I buy but that so it you well and you for if all right blood going if she.
So we're gonna put on that outfit. That outfit again also works to help us get our horse. Now that we have our horse, we're gonna quickly unequip that outfit just so we're wearing as little as possible and are as light as possible. And we're going to head over to this camp that is conveniently placed outside. Also going to call Pebbles right before we go to sleep. So that way Pebbles will be here and we can use it to get back into the castle. And we're just going to go to sleep as long as we can. And then we're going to wait around for a bit. So I'm going to sleep till night so that we're fully rested. Then we're going to just wait a couple hours. Gonna wait till morning. And now we're gonna go find out what happened to the cart because it turns out Lord Semi and Gnarly are just gonna handle it for us. Which is very nice of them, by the way. They surely didn't have to do that, but they decided to help me out. So we're gonna try to find Gnarly. Nice, we found him like immediately. And we're gonna ask him. Gonna say, hey, I got lost. My bad. What happened?
I will. Should eat something.
Appreciate it. And now we just gotta leave the castle, and then we can fast travel back to Takov and update the blacksmith on what happened with his stuff. If, oh, there we go. Looking at the wrong quest marker. Oops, again. Gonna try to just not talk to anyone on the way. That seems like their business, not really ours.
So aye and had I hope got that and something thanks look youngs every old excellent hold that's God and you and he got the word from well natural they people
so we're essentially being explained now that we want to make a sword for Lord Semi for the wedding, but we need to get good steel. So there's some creepy story, maybe some devils involved, where we're supposed to investigate what's going on. We don't particularly care for any of that. We're just going to go straight to where we can find the sword. To do that, we're going to this hermit's grave area, which we just need to go straight east for from here. Yeah, so here we go. Our quest is to go find the hermit in the grave. Again, we don't like super care about that. We're just gonna go straight to where the grave and the hermit are.
go.
So we're gonna just rush through the woods. Hopefully we don't bonk into any trees, and that should take us to Apollonia.
Go.
Yep, here we are. And now we're just gonna go ahead and oh my, okay, it's fine. We're gonna head down these rocks a little bit. I think I may have gone too far. Let's head back up. Yeah, I think I see up there where I need to be. I'm just gonna get off the horse. Horse is a little rough to navigate during this section. I want to call it to here, where I can actually use it when I get out. But we're gonna go find the hermit, and this is where the hermit lives. We're just gonna go and knock him out.
Get out before you come to a bad end.
Ooh, okay. We're at a weird time. Normally you can catch him inside. So let's see if he's inside now. Okay, nice. Looks like he is. He's down reading. We're just gonna sneak up on him and knock him out. This one I'm pretty sure you always knock him out immediately. You don't have to do whatever nonsense. I'm gonna take some of his stuff to sell later. And we're gonna take the diary. We're gonna read this diary.
Bloody hell. There's a in here.
And that's just gonna tell us where to go.
Like a diary. Let's have a look at it then.
To get the sword. You can try going to the grave right away to get the sword. Unfortunately, it doesn't, like, the sword doesn't appear until you read that diary. So we did try skipping, like, you know, Psychic Henry can only do so much to break the laws of physics and of man's knowledge. So the grave's gonna be right here.
Somewhere around here. Now that's
So we're gonna pick that up and go back to the blacksmith. And then the blacksmith's gonna task us with making this sword. And then we'll be at the wedding. We'll have gained entry. Before we make the sword, we're just gonna go ahead and equip our good outfit. You can see Henry starting to wobble a little bit on account of being so hungry it hurts. But again, it's gonna be totally fine because the game is gonna refill our food and sleep after like 2 more missions.
Greetings.
So
No one back. He's dead.
What? No.
The herb and this god fur.
That's sick.
Right. Yeah. Wait.
all right, so you're gonna say, hey, go ahead and make that sword for me. All right,
What should he
we'll go ahead and make it. So we're gonna go ahead and get this sword heated up, and then we're going to make it. And then as soon as we make it, we're just gonna meet and say like, all right, let's go to the wedding. Like I'm ready to go meet von Bergov and get started with my real mission. Of course, not everything works that way. There's gonna be more hijinks, but I like to do the metal until it basically is burning, because then that means that you'll be able to finish it in one go. Like I mentioned during the tutorial, I'm not even going to bother flipping the blade over. You can finish it just by whacking it on one side, as long as you're not doing like the same spot over and over. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We have a lot of really funny quests coming up, so this is where I start to really enjoy the run. The beginning can be a bit of a slog, but I think once you get out of the first city, or the first little town you're in, when you get into the fist fight, I think that's when it starts to speed up. Trying to make sure I don't run out of stamina here, so that I don't like totally lose the ability to hit the blade. Because again, we want to make sure we finish before I have to go and reheat it. Alright, there we go. They hand the sword in, which will finish our last side quest before we're able to go to the wedding. And then we'll tell the blacksmith, hey, let's go. Take us there. The wedding itself, awesome quest casually. We kind of cheat it in the speedrun, unfortunately. Hey, made that sword for you.
Thanks.
Oh
No, I have got.
what we can.
We get
See. Oh. Welcome.
Alright, so we're at the wedding.
Has Laura von
And immediately we're just asking to meet the Lord of the Land with zero consideration for the Lord of this castle.
What is it?
Gonna match text, and as soon as we're in, we're just gonna go ahead and rob someone.
There's a thief here.
And that's gonna start a fist fight.
Catch him.
Oh my, he took out a sword. They're all taking out swords. I thought it was supposed to be like a fist fight deal. They all have swords. So we're just gonna run. Like these guys, that's crazy. Some of these guys have swords out. Alright, there we go. That's gonna give us a cutscene. We just have to run around a little bit. I don't know why that man pulled a weapon out. I just pickpocketed a lady. Anyways, here's Godwin. Godwin's the man. Unfortunately, we're not gonna see too much of him.
Right away.
Actually, no, we do get a little bit of Godwin in this this speedrun.
Listen, I want Henry. Well, alright.
You're gonna try to accept the apology as fast as possible to get through this text. Essentially, what Hans was doing this whole time while we were trying to find a way into the wedding. Hans also makes it to the wedding somehow. I can't specifically remember, but Hans essentially was poaching this whole time, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna execute you for poaching," and we're like, "He's a noble. You really can't do that." In this quest, we're meant to find a way to prove Hans's innocence before the 12th bell. You're given a bunch of like menial tasks that you can do little by little that grants you more and more access to the castle. But because Henry just has such incredible foresight, we know exactly where the captain is and what's wrong with him and how to fix him. So we're just going to sprint into this area we can't go. And we're going to run up to where the scribe is and pick up the potion that we're looking for. That guard being right there is a little annoying. Hopefully he doesn't follow me into this room. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna try robbing him first, and then we'll knock him out. Yeah, this is gonna work. I didn't get nearly enough time on that rob, so we're gonna have to knock this guy out stupid. Nice, got it first try. That's huge. We're just gonna go ahead and take his money and keys, like we've done for most of these poor folks. And we'll go to the chest and open it. And we're gonna grab the fever tonic gum. Now there's gonna be a bunch of guards in the way. Ideally they're just not on the stairs where we can't pass them. Like that's fine. That's actually super good. And now we're gonna run out this way. And we're gonna head to where the captain is. The only thing that can mess us up at this point is if guards chase us all the way up to where the captain is. Usually they stop beforehand. The only like troublesome bit is if there happens to be a guard like already up there, which happens sometimes, but hopefully not this time. Like that guy's a little close. That's a little worrying, but hopefully he gives up once we go up these stairs. Yeah, okay, nice. So everyone's already looking, so we should be good to finish this quest.
If you unlock,
No, I need.
unlock.
What actually?
Yeah, I missed the...
I heard. So
There we go.
Yes.
Alright, so we saved the captain. The captain is actually who we talked to at the very start of the game when we were doing some of those skill checks. So he saw the letter and knows what's going on, and he lets von Bergov know that we are in fact who we say we are, and that we cannot hang Hans.
It's
None. There
we've had so
is right.
so
In and just deal. It would. Is that up? Deal. We'll take.
all right.
The check.
Thank you.
Oh, when you what the thing.
So von Bergov is sending us out to his allies because he hasn't heard word from them, and we're trying to get more allies for something. There ends up being a lot of like double crossing from this point forward. I can't remember all the specifics, but yeah, we're essentially going to go meet allies. What we're going to do instead is we're going to get a horse upgrade. Just now that I think about it, I wonder... I don't know. I'll have to test that later. I can't remember how much horse riding we actually do from this point on. There might not be a reason to upgrade the horse. I'm definitely not going to put the equipment on it. I'll take the horse anyways, but...
I'm here.
I've got some. Take care.
I took it.
And
I'll take
good. Yeah. And I've.
They've got.
Well, you definitely need it for the. I don't know if you need it for this part, like the speedrun, where you're only, you know, going up to a certain point, but you definitely need it for after. So, for now, we're just gonna get the horse, then we're gonna wait an hour for Hans to get here, and then this is a new discovery actually, which is so funny. You're meant to like ride a horse over, but instead we're going to talk to Hans to say, oh, let's escort you there, and then we're just gonna wait a day, and then Hans is gonna be pissed at you, be like, what the hell? Like, you're supposed to escort me over there. And then you'll just fast travel. So for in-game time, it obviously saves time. You can see my in-game timer isn't going because we're loading. And then it's going to fast travel us right there. So we're going to head to Nebukov. And one thing to know about Nebukov is it's actually not... The people there aren't who they say they are.
I can't... Henry, we have... We can go. We'll leave on some mount...
Essentially, Henry's just going to know that these people are clearly, like, not good people. Why am I under arrest at Troskovitz? That's not good. Anyways, I'm sure it's fine. Someone must have found the body I left out.
Now, I bet I am so pleased. He will.
Basically, this fortress has been overrun by bandits. And you're meant to find that out slowly by just, you know, everyone being super weird. We're going to find it out because we're going to know that there's prisoners, and we're going to get to those prisoners.
So, Henry, Sir Henry's not out.
So what we're going to do first is we're just going to wait an hour to make sure everyone's in the right spot. And then we're going to run through the kitchen into this back alley, which for some reason counts as trespassing, which, you know, not suspicious at all. And we're going to knock out this guard. We're going to pick up his body just to move him to the side a little bit because he's like a little in view. And we're going to rob him for his stuff. We're also going to take some of his expensive armor because we're going to sell this in a bit.
What?
So that man is the actual lord of the castle. He's like, hey, bandits have taken over. Like, go back to von Berghoff and send help. So we're gonna do that. We've essentially finished that quest extremely fast since we know all the information. Hans is currently meeting with the quote-unquote lord of the castle, so we're just gonna wait for him to be done. And then we're gonna ride back and let von Berghoff know that there are bandits at Nebukov Fortress.
And what about fucking? Is that you? What I found? Oh, well then. Yeah, but it was. Of course.
All right, so we're gonna go see von Berghoff immediately.
Well, and
we're gonna make sure we're not gonna mention anything about Semin not being at his wedding, which, again, we didn't really do the wedding, but for some reason we know that Semin wasn't there, like the one that was meant to be married. And that's because never mentioning Semin actually skips like a big part of this quest, which is super nice.
What's this up? Look, he'll be. But you look. But if I did. Oh, come on.
Christ, pardon me.
So now we're basically being told, hey, you gotta go torture a man.
Bring me something to eat.
Which sucks. But we already know what's going on with him, so it's not a super big deal. We are going to do a little torturing, though, just to get out of it faster.
Who are you?
And who? We all will do is you'll end.
This is, you know.
You won't attack.
Is that? Let's do now. You.
where's that? You play. You. We know.
What? How could we?
How did?
Oh, it's just indeed an abolish.
You know. I know.
So.
Go. We.
Well.
Jeez.
Oh, if you...
So we basically tortured information out of him that older Semin, the younger Semin, I don't know. He's helping out these bandits at Nebekov. So we're gonna make sure we keep quiet about Semin, because otherwise you like have to send a raid-in party there and go through a bunch of nonsense. And we obviously don't want to do that. We just want to get started as fast as possible. So if no one's here, I'm gonna go ahead and take some food. That's okay. We're gonna come up here, we're gonna tell Semi what we know, which is essentially there's bandits in Nebekov and no one is helping them. They're very obviously doing it on their own, and we don't know anything else of the sort. Nobody helped the bandits here.
You're that not right. We've the band with us. I'm in with yeah, Henry.
Alright, there we go. Now we have to wait for a party in the evening, so we're gonna just skip to nighttime so we can talk to Hans and get this party started. We have to get him wine and armor. We're also gonna buy ourselves our weapon that we're gonna be using, which is pretty neat.
Come, it'll be. You don't. I'm an above. But now, let's go.
Low, good job. What?
Thank you. I'll be and
There's Catherine again, by the way, somehow in this castle. Very suspicious.
More.
Not what? Will I'm risk my to speed.
As he.
I the next your dad. Anything else?
Alright, we are like dead tired, but that's fine. Don't want to go this way. We want to go down and get some wine for Sir Hans. Nice.
Retake.
Excuse
What? For that? Forget. But don't.
This cook can be all over the place. Sometimes I have to literally wait till the next morning. She's like, "Oh, can you lockpick a chest for me, and then I'll give you the wine?" And I just say, no, just give me the wine," and she does, which is very nice of her. Anyways, how we're going to? Oh, we are not in our good clothes. We need to get our good clothes. That's step one. Right. Currently, we have none of our stuff. I forgot about that.
really need to sleep.
We're gonna grab this to
Something
sell,
eat now.
which is nice. Did that give me all my stuff? Okay, it did, thank God. I was a little worried for a second that it did it for some reason. So we're gonna go ahead and put on our nice outfit in this slot. Then in this one we're going to equip some armor. Can't remember where I got this from. I'll probably sell it. Do I not have leg protection at this point? Can't remember. Anyways, that looks about right.
I need something to eat.
2 over encumbered to sprint. That's fine. We're gonna get it all off in a second, bud.
Great.
I'll talk to this guy. We're gonna trade first so that we can sell and buy our weapon. So we're going to be using the Knight Warhammer. And we're gonna sell him literally everything else we have to make sure we have enough money. I don't know where I got that from. That's kind of fire, though. Alright, cool. Had enough. Now we're gonna tell him to come for the armor for Hans.
As you think, and I see.
And he's gonna give us what we need. Gotta make sure we equip that. Let's just drop some other nonsense we don't need. Go ahead and equip those also. I can't remember where I got that from. Alright, that's enough stuff. I'll figure the rest out from Hans. Alright, we are basically about to keel over, so let's go to sleep. And now we're gonna head off to battle. We're supposed to be raiding Nebekov Fortress to save the lord of that castle. Can't remember if they... Am I gonna be hungry? Oh yeah, definitely hungry. So let's eat that food that we stole. Alright, now we're good for battle. Still over encumbered. It should be done, or it should be gone once we give this to Hans.
I've got... What do you mean? Well, if it hadn't been... What about... Ready. X.
Am I still over encumbered? I'm not. Nice.
So what? Let's go. I'll wait 400 of our coming on. With the force we have,
Alright.
take their little fort in a
Cool. Things are going pretty well, I think.
Certainly won't be a long siege.
There is a lot of nonsense that can happen in this next part. It's basically RNG, like, we're weak. We've done 0 fighting.
I can't wait to repay
Right,
them for their
so
kindness. I can still feel the
we kind of just
sting
have
on
to
my
hope
shoulder where the arrow hit.
that all of our teammates are, like, helpful to us, which would be awesome. If they're not, then it makes this quest a lot harder and we'll probably have to reset it a bunch of times.
Courted at least 3 times for what they did.
I may even break out some savior schnapps in certain points, just to make sure we're fine. Especially because there's people that are going to be like shooting at us from above that are like super cringe to deal with, so I don't usually. But yeah, this quest is like our last like... no, there's a couple tough ones still coming up actually, I lied.
Oh,
Anyways, on the way to Nebekov, turns out they're totally ready for us. Can't figure out who could have possibly told these people. There hasn't been a reoccurring character over and over that seems to be avoiding us, but what do I know? Anyways, here's Hans. He's gonna help us up. We're gonna pick up a bow and arrow and actually use that a little bit. It just makes it easier to like thin out crowds. So we're gonna switch back and forth a bit between using the bows and our warhammer that we just bought. Oh my. I was gonna say, we're gonna hopefully actually hit these guys. I'm just gonna switch to hammer now, though. Alright. And my best advice is also not to ever, like, actually fight the person who is looking at you. And to instead just go and, like, join in on other people's fights. Nice. Okay, so we saved only one other person. That's not great, but alright. So again, we're gonna switch to the bow. And that's the cringe part, is when people from above blast you somehow. So you kind of hope that, like, there's like a guy behind. You kind of want him to help out a bit, which looks like he did. Oh, here's the last one. We're still fighting. Alright, this is going pretty good so far, outside of me getting hit by 2 different arrows. It's a little messed up. Let me see if I have any bandages. I do. Oh, I'm not bleeding. Never mind. We're good. Just flesh wounds. Alright, one last time. Gonna equip the bow.
K-Pod, where the hell is he?
He's right there.
I have to go to him.
Yeah, actually, if these guys could help me, that'd be tight. Alright, cool. So now we're just gonna hide here because these guys are still gonna be shooting. We obviously don't want that. So once it says to go help him, gonna run up, gonna get that text, and then run away again. We're not actually gonna help him. He's dead. We don't really like him anyways, so it's totally fine. He dies. Yeah, good shot. Alright, and now we're gonna keep running with Hans. And coming up, we're gonna see, oh, the road's blocked. What are we gonna do? What we're gonna do is, what is that guy doing? I don't think I've ever seen this guy here like this. That is bizarre. Please don't actually stop. Oh, that's really obnoxious, actually. Mess him up quick. Okay. Yeah, normally that guy is not there. Like, they shall be grouped here fighting. And you get this quest to go around the barricade, which you can just run around. And you don't have to fight anyone. So that guy being there was a little strange, but thankfully we were able to deal with him quick. These guys are going to run around that tree so they don't bother us. And we'll jump down here where they won't follow us. We're going to wait for Hans a bit, because he's going to take a second to get here. We're going to get in on this fighting. These are the last enemies we're going to have to kill. Is Hans still lost, or...? Alright. So now these are the last people. We're going to let them shoot at our compatriots here. And then we're going to run around, and hopefully they don't light us up too bad. Because we have... Oh my goodness, they lit us up so bad. Okay, we're going to heal the bleeding now, actually. Hopefully we can heal it. Oh, I'm in combat, apparently. Doesn't feel like it. Feels like I'm running, actually. Anyways, we'll see if we can use last duel anyways. I have broken armor, too. That was really bad how I got lit up there. I might have to, like, restart. This guy's really susceptible to feints. We just want to make sure... I mean, he can kill us in, like, one hit, basically. So we're going to take our time and wait for him to attack. Like... Yep, there we go. This is not an easy duel, especially when you come in with, like, no health. I did get 2 early feints there, which was huge. So hopefully we can repeat that here.
You think you can scare me? Not a chance.
So we're just going to try to get head bonks because he's not wearing a helmet and heavy weapons mess you up when you get hit in the head. Alright, we're getting pretty close. Nice. Cool, cool, cool. That's big. Alright, now we're going to do our last Godwin sequence of this part.
And then they walk right. Let me so my she's that's not all. It's the one if I well folks and what you and I speak with from safe couple.
Yeah, so we're gonna play as Father Godwin. We need to go find Henry and Hans. That's the mission, that's why we're in this region. But we're hearing about some sort of big fight that happened near Nebakov. So we're gonna go over there and try to figure out what's going on. It's nice playing as Godwin in the speedrun because he's like capable, whereas Henry is not. So the horse doesn't get tired despite, you know, going over grass.
Let's go. Go. I'm supposed to take a left at the crossroads.
Yeah, we have like a map marker on our UI. He's got the Google Godwin's got the Google Lens, courtesy of the church. So he just like has a map marker and knows where to go. He doesn't need to worry about actual directions.
The tracks lead to the right. I'd better tread carefully. That company must have headed into the thicker forest. They used the trees as cover. Wagons. They probably used them to block the way and prevent a retreat. Smart. They rained arrows down at them. Good God, what a bloodbath.
Nothing bothering me, sir. Just minding my own business, actually.
Slow. God Almighty, bless their souls. And they blocked their way forward as well. In any case, the innkeeper wasn't exaggerating. It looks like a
Alright,
Turkish raiding
and now we're gonna go talk to Eric, who is also another big player in the grand scheme of things. Again, this short in speedrun, not gonna see a whole lot of him.
What do you? I made it. Who's knows? You go.
But we hate Eric. Me and my homies do not mess with Eric.
No, you might get us after. Well, look. So I hope
no.
Sir, but
Right.
X will. I still
Right. If did you? I won't. Where?
if
Let's come on.
Oops. Sometimes I forget that your sword is just already out. So yeah, Godwin is awesome. You can see I'm doing a lot of damage and able to swing my sword a bunch and not really worry about stamina. Might also be able to show off Master Strikes if I'm lucky. If people stop hitting me from behind. I mean, you can. I just flew through those people. Godwin is so much more fun to play with. You really end up enjoying the Godwin parts. Alright, so here he's like, oh, okay, like, let's get on our horses, and he ends up asking you to race. Not super interested in that. We can just force a cutscene by going to where we need to. So we're gonna do that. Eric also takes you like the long way up to the castle, whereas you can just like, in Oblivion horse fashion, just climb straight up the side.
God, you measure. Make you convert among you. It doesn't. And you first but the as the but I get. I'll and I.
So there's Ziska, whose eyes messed up from the duel we had with him as Henry.
I was a yes, mate, and you won't.
We get in a bit of spat. Turns out to be a rebellion. We're gonna go help him with it.
Kill them to the last man.
But we're basically gonna find out that we're actually on the same side this whole time. These guys support King Wenceslas as well. So, you know, the whole time, von Bergov has actually been with Sigismund. But yeah, until then, we're gonna keep enjoying our time as Godwin and just slicing and dicing people. Ziska's also nice to fight with because he has a giant mace that's super strong. Who's gonna shoot who? Who are we waiting for? Oh, that is a bad guy. He just matrix dodged all of my attacks. This guy's invincible. Alright, and this is where we find out where Eric has also Aaron and this guy Ishtan have found their way in with these rebels. And that's when we realize, oh, like, these are the bad people.
Don't for the and he just really and I would want get built the gap. Go right. Oh, try so. Mate, I'm working. We got two. You're not. Well, I am. He's the crook. We well, which after yup, I be. How they and is where'd you you Lord? If you wait, there's a as a man swim. How did on? What we you tell? If there's what would he drop. He's I think. Well, we should work. Where he's so the you see he's giving. All right.
So now we're gonna take care of the fort and basically get ready to there. Godwin handles the eye. Really gross cutscene. We're gonna skip that. Not because it's faster, because it's gross. Obviously. Alright, we're gonna follow Godwin now.
Thank God we managed to survive.
Doesn't let us speed ahead, unfortunately.
Now it's time to go to those.
Does it not?
So lucky.
I don't think it. I'm pretty sure I've tried it. It doesn't let you speed ahead.
And they don't have to choose a lesser evil.
By the lesser evil.
We only have
ally whose eye
like 2 more quests left in the speedrun. Actually, they're just long.
Tell me what's new in your parish instead.
I'd be glad to. Only I no longer have a parish.
They really threw you out. I thought you were joking. What for?
Or what do you think? Boozing, whoring, ringing the bells at night, roughing up the bailiff, that young vagabond who preached in my place. Well, maybe you remember something about that.
Well,
that's a reference to one of like the greatest quests in video game history, specifically related
The
to
thing I remember most is that my head was pounding for 3 days.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 1.
You were really the last thing I needed. Wow. Maybe all these hardships will be for the best in the end.
Basically, you take over for the priest because he's hungover after a night of drinking with him.
We're the lucky ones,
It's great stuff.
unlike others.
some of them might have fallen even by my hand.
I understand. Trust me, it's all the same to them now.
Alright, now that we're
The best thing you
here,
can do
we're
for
gonna
their
stop
souls
following.
and yours, find peace to make great. But enough of that. We still have another burden. Why?
And we're gonna start digging graves. So we're gonna dig all the graves first and then bring the bodies over, and that's because you can just bury the bodies while you're carrying them, but you can't dig the graves while you're carrying bodies, so it just stops us from having to like pick them up, put them down, pick them up, put them down. I want to look at, it's like a weird, it's like on the bottom right-ish area is where the prompt comes up. It's a bit bizarre, but there we go.
Do you think
We did.
Let's keep-
Oh, no, no.
Alright, and now we get introduced to guns, which we're not going to use at all in this run. Technically we could. I'm not going to. We'll see. I might whip it out, but probably won't use them. What else am I in right now? Yeah, let's get in this one. Basically, the gun is used in like the greater speedrun to take care of like. There's one section where there's just a bunch of enemies, and you get into a spot where you're safe and you can't get hurt, and you kind of blast away at enemies from there with the gun. And then I use it in like 2 other spots to take care of really armored enemies. But that's about it. I might use it for this raid coming up for the Finger of God, but probably won't use it outside of that.
Let's get
This our with it. Let's you have mate and quite.
How do you?
It'd be bad.
First, she should just. Oh, that.
Have you
Me, but the
good?
careful. You. That's what?
Maybe.
Good idea.
Fun fact, they changed
Someone is
this
a wolf.
in the most recent update because it definitely used to be like the targets were way further away and you only had 3 shots, and now the targets are closer and you get 5, which makes more sense, honestly, because you're never like sniping people with this. Also, my right click is busted, so it's not working. Godwin's also like unreal at shooting the guns for some reason. I'm horrendous at it. Which is why I also almost never use it for the speedrun. There's people that are good at shooting it. I'm just not one of them. When I do have to shoot it, I try to get as close to the guy as possible and basically barrel stuff in them. Six is actually a pretty good score, all things considered. Oh, I almost got it. That's the closest I think I've ever been to the bullseye.
It's a ice. No, it's what? Of course. And if all right, we have you.
Alright, so now we're gonna head to bed. We're gonna run in our no clothes, and then right before we go to bed, we're gonna switch into our fighting gear. Alright, so we're gonna have a siege section where essentially we just gotta defend the tower or the fortress. We're gonna fail. And then we have like an escape section, which is probably the hardest quest in this whole thing, and of course it's the very last one.
It'll start. We have Michael. I'll be all right. God. So.
Yeah. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go and grab a polearm. And that's because this section, all we really need to do is knock ladders off. So we're just gonna get in position to do that. I'm gonna try not to get shot in the meantime. So something I've wondered, I don't have the skill for it, I wonder if you can actually like shoot the one that's carrying the ladder and make them drop it, because that would substantially speed the section up, but I don't know, something to try out. For the time being, we're just gonna knock them down as soon as these are placed. The hope is that the enemies, there's 4 ladders, we're gonna knock 2 of them down before enemies even get a chance to go up them. The hope is that all of our allies are really taking care of all the enemies on the other side, so that we can kind of just like run up and knock them down. Nice, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so sick. I've never gotten the prompt from so far away. But that rocks. Ow. Please don't hurt me. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop this, because we're over encumbered with it. Alright. Now we're gonna head over to the gate to go help our boy Hans. And let's go wait for enemies to start appearing here, and we're gonna throw some rocks at them. Gonna just drop them right on their heads. It appears my stones are missing. Alright. Now we wait here for Yiska. And we're gonna go kill more people. You have like 2 more waves of enemies to fight.
What's I am.
This man is apparently invincible. So this is where I was considering maybe using the pistol, but I don't know. Like I feel like you have so much help from like other people that it doesn't seem that necessary. Well, this guy does have crazy armor. Alright, so here we gotta hope. I've seen it sometimes when this guy like falls down and it makes it really cringe. Yeah, like I but actually don't want to target him. I want to just climb up the ladder. Alright, cool. There can be an issue there sometimes. Oh my goodness. We just need to be careful to not get too many enemies on us, because we obviously just want to survive. We gotta kind of hope our allies pop off as well, which it doesn't seem like they're doing. Okay, we're fine. I guess that's just a time thing, actually. So we're gonna get captured. They're taking us back to von Bergov's fortress, and they're gonna torture us. Obviously, everyone's casual playthrough. You're keeping the information to yourself. We are going to squeal immediately.
But I'm whack. So I'll repeat.
So, as soon as we're given the option, we're like, here's all of our plans. But, Catherine to the rescue. Turns out Catherine has been working with Ziska, and that's how they've known everything.
Catherine, I felt. Don't listen.
And how?
Here is.
I'll shoot. Don't want that's the have you know what's up?
So, I'm gonna go and get all of our gear.
Right.
Wait, I'll take.
I'm as hungry as a wolf.
Oh man, so this last time I did this, I didn't have the tortured debuff. I think we're gonna go up one actually. So maybe I should figure out how to not get that, because not being tortured is like a huge help in this quest. It's not the right door either.
Here's the report.
Alright, but like I said, we're essentially trying to find Sigismund's orders,
And I'll really start to
and
become-
also we are trying to find all of our gear. So first I'm going to go get our gear. There's going to be 2 guys up here we're going to just sneak past, and hopefully our stomach doesn't rumble while we do that. Every time the torch comes on at a weird point, I always think that it's someone there, but it's just...
Ink. This must be the scribe's chamber. Nothing of interest. There aren't any orders here.
Alright, so we just need to search a couple of things to look for the orders. Now we're gonna go to Istvan Toth's lair. Istvan Toth, again, someone you meet in the first games. You have the option to duel him honorably, where you're just gonna murder him.
I hope the bastard didn't have those keys on him.
Then up here, we're gonna go ahead and check his room for Sigismund's orders. While also getting all my things. I'm gonna switch into our good outfit. We're also gonna eat now that we have our stolen food back. And now we're gonna run back down and go get Godwin. This is another one where sometimes you can get cringed by guards for whatever reason coming up these stairs. It's not super common. I think it only happens if you don't do stuff fast enough, but I look like I'm good. Hopefully no guards out here. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe down here. I don't know. Is he gonna go through this door? Oh, I could have gone this way. Shoot. He's just gonna stay over there. There's another guard over here, bro. What is going on? Okay. Now we're good. Can I just keep changing between crouching and sprinting? Alright, now that we're in here, we're good. We're gonna get Sigismund's orders and find Godwin, who's also looking for them. We're actually gonna go from this angle, funny enough, so we can get Sigismund's orders first, and then go meet Godwin. And then we have the toughest part of the quest coming up. So hey, we got everything, Godwin. Let's get out of here. We're just gonna sprint ahead of him to get a cutscene going. And it is so dark down here, but I think if you just keep running forward, you eventually find a light.
We have and it. Right, now.
All right.
If it on what? If is it?
How should there's a you go?
What's
So again, not gonna walk with them. Just gonna sort of sprint ahead down the tunnel. We're not. Henry's not exactly what you would call a team player.
good idea?
Alright, first thing we're gonna do is actually just mark where we're trying to go to. Which is like here-ish. And now there's a very specific route you can run that like minimizes how much you have to like do and be nervous of. Essentially, coming this way, there's only like 2 guards you have to throw stones at, which is kind of nice. We're gonna take it a little slow when we get there, just to make sure. It's just this first section here that's the scary bit. It's like that guy, we're fine. We're gonna just sprint past. Then once we get to here, we're going to look up and we're gonna start throwing some rocks to try and make sure these guys don't bother us. So here's the first one. I'm gonna throw our second ones pretty soon, just like here. Go throw a couple up there. Gonna run down to avoid that guy. I'm gonna throw some rocks for this dude. I did not mean to whistle, that's crazy, but we're fine, somehow. Alright, and that should be it. We should be good to kind of just like sprint the rest of the way. Still gonna be a little cautious just in case, but we should be mostly fine. Yeah, like I don't know what that guy's doing. Wow, this is gonna be a pretty sick time, low-key. Yeah, this way we just keep heading south. You're meant to like free someone, and like there's a lot of sneaking. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun to play it casually, but it turns out there's just a way you could kind of run around everybody. So for speedrun, obviously gonna do that way. And if we keep heading in this general direction, we should see it pretty soon. Okay, looks like I hit an invisible wall, so it's probably down here somewhere. Time! Woo! 131.51 IGT is pretty sick. I'll take it. Alright, so that's Kingdom Come Deliverance, Trosky %. Hope you enjoy that. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's just goofy. It's goofy stuff with Fortune Teller Henry.